After wrapping that last episode, it definitely seemed like you had more to say.
Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome. If you haven't, my name is Miko. Nice to meet you. So today I decided that, hold on one second. I decided that I wanted to do my video a little different because I wanted to get a little transparent and more raw. You know what I mean? Like the first initial video was just giving you like an introduction to what I wanted to say. I feel more comfortable now to let you guys a little bit more into my life. So let's just jump into the video. I want to talk about the beginning stages of my 13-year toxic relationship. It started out with love bombing. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the stages of a narcissistic relationship or even like a toxic relationship. For the most part, it starts out with your partner very much so putting you on a pedestal, making you feel like you're the ideal person for them. So in the beginning of my relationship with my ex, we kind of met like on like some like weird terms. So I had a friend and she was actually like my ex-mother-in-law, honestly. I was in a relationship with her son and we had like the cutest relationship and we just ended up turning into best friends. So then we were supposed to travel to the West Coast, which we was travel to Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. And she had informed me that she had a friend out there. Her friend was my ex. So I walked in a conversation between him and her, and basically he knew who I was. He basically was like, she told him, I'm gonna come here with my best friend. And he was like, well, who's your best friend? And she was like, Miko. And he said, oh, I don't know who that is. So anyway, she sends him a picture. He sees the picture and he's like, oh my God, like that's my boo. I love her, da 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 da, you know, the whole whatever. So shortly after that, I still didn't know who this dude was. So I ended up going on Instagram and I just typed in his name, and we're both from the Bronx and we're actually both in the same area. So I don't know, he's from the other side of the Bronx though. So I kind of just like looked him up. I put in the name that she told me was his like little nickname, and then I actually just typed in a street, which was completely ironic because who knew by me typing in the street that his Instagram would just pop right up. So anyway, his Instagram pops up. I see him and I'm like, damn, dude kind of cute, like kind of fly. He's really tall, he's handsome, he's cute. I was like, oh, I was a little tickled. I was like, oh, he's cute. So I left it like that, and then that was it. I didn't reach out to him or do anything. Like I was saying in the first episode, it was just like a mental note. But I was like, damn, this dude is fine. So then one day, I was working at a shop because I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a stylist. I do hair, I do makeup, and I do fashion styling. So anyway, I was doing a client's hair, and as I'm looking out of the window, I'm like, wait a minute, that looks like that too, like that dude. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want anybody to get any clout off of, you know, what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just am here to give you guys the information and the resources that you guys need to identify a narcissist or even like a toxic individual or whatever. So yeah, so anyway, I see him and I'm like, oh my God, like that's the dude. So I call him, I'm like, hey, I open the door and I'm like, hey. And he looks both ways. He was like, who, me? And I'm like, yeah, you, like, come here. So he came, and when he came in the salon and he was like, hey, what's up? He gave me a hug, and I'm like, let me tell y'all something. When I seen this dude, I was like, yo, he was so fine. Y'all hear me? He was 6'5", hella cute, chocolate. I was like, ooh. So I wasn't really like, I didn't show him that I felt like he was really handsome, but he was handsome. So, fast forward now, he's like, oh, we should go out. Let's go out on a date or whatever. So back in this time, I think we was in like 2011. So in the Bronx, everybody knows what's Bronx BBQs. So he was like, oh, let's go to Bronx BBQ. So I was like, like, so right there, I kind of like dubbed him, because when he said Bronx BBQs, I was like, I ain't trying to go to no BBQs with this dude. Like, I don't even eat at BBQs. Like, that's gross. So I dubbed him that day. So then the next day came. He called me and he was like, where you at? Whatever, like, let's go out, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. He was like, what happened to you? And I was like, oh, I had to pick up my daughter, because, you know, my daughter was with her dad. So at that time, my daughter was, I think she was exactly 3 years old. So, yeah, she was with her dad, and I was just like, I had to pick my daughter up from her dad, so, you know, I couldn't go or whatever. So he's like, oh, you know, you can always, like, come over to my mom's house or whatever, because, you know, I have a daughter that is also 3, and, like, my little cousins and everybody's gonna be over here. So I don't know, like, it was kind of like, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if to say like it's foreshadowing, or like, I don't know. I was just getting the energy of just like, nah, this dude is too comfortable. Like, meanwhile, you gotta pay attention. Like, even in these cases, it was cute to just be like, oh my God, he's fine. Oh, I'm interested or whatever. But also just keeping in mind with like the red flags and like how you feel when you're going through these motions in the beginning stages of a relationship, or even like a commitment or dating stages. So I kind of felt like he was so comfortable, way too comfortable, because he was saying like, oh, you can bring your daughter over to my mom's house and she could play with my daughter and my family. And it was like, it wasn't really like a bad thing, but to me it was just like, I felt like he was a little too comfortable. So then fast forward, we don't go out, and I dub him for literally 3 days. So one day, he hits me up and he's like, well, listen, I'm about to go back out of town or whatever, and you know, you hit me up when you ready or whatever. So I'm like, oh, he got a little attitude, he mad. So I was just like, so anyway, we did meet up, we had a conversation, everything was cool, and then he ended up getting on a flight and he went back to the West Coast. So we were, I think after that, we spoke on the phone for about like, I want to say 2 to 3 months straight. When I'm telling you, like, real toxic, okay? Like, we was on the phone for hours, like, and in the real world, nobody has time to be on the phone with anyone for hours, which was like, again, another red flag that like I just completely did not even notice, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, I was looking at it like, we're not committed, we're just getting to know each other, like, it's really not that serious. And we were on the opposite ends of the earth. He was on the West Coast, I was on the East Coast. It was just like, what else were we going to do but chat on the phone or whatever? So like I said, we were talking for like 2 to 3 months, and finally he was on his way back to the East Coast or whatever. So he comes back. As a matter of fact, before I even say he comes back, let me backtrack a little bit. So we have been talking, right? And everything was going like real smooth, everything was fine. We were so compatible. He was an artist, he did music, he rapped and write songs, and I'm a big hip hop lover, music head. All my friends when I was growing up, where they were all like artists and stuff, but I'm like girls, like they were all like rappers and things of that nature. So him and I had a lot in common. When I say we just talk about a lot of things. So I noticed this one day in particular, I had went to his Instagram, and before the day I went to his Instagram, Mother's Day had just passed. So I remember like he had posted his daughter's mother for Mother's Day and was saying happy Mother's Day to her, and then he posted me. Now mind you, again, another freaking red flag. It was like we just met. Why would this dude, right, want to post me on his social media platform? Like, doesn't that seem like a little strange? You know, I would never post a guy that I've just met on my social media like, yeah, happy Father's Day. It just sends a different type of signal. So that was that, and I'm saying to myself like, well, wow, like maybe dude really don't got no girl or nothing, because like, why would he post me on his social media? That's what I'm thinking. So now one day I go to his Instagram and I type his name in, and when I type his name in, nothing pops up. So I'm like, wait, what in the world is going on? This is so strange. So you know, like when you go to like Instagram and you're like, wait a minute, I'm blocked. So like you type in the name like a good 2, 3, 4 times, and you still like you're like, okay, it's registering that like, oh, I'm blocked. Like, what the fuck is going on? So I was blocked, and I was like, all right. I felt like a sort of a way, but I don't even, to this day, now I know and I understand my emotions at that particular time. But when it was happening, I didn't know what I was feeling, because I was like, wait, am I emotional or like mad because I like this dude, or like, does he have a girl and he's not telling me, or like what is happening? I don't even know what's happening. Of course, because he lives so many miles away, so of course I'm not gonna really know what's happening. So anyway, I don't remember like if he called me that day or like maybe like a couple days later or something, because I don't even think we spoke right away. Like I think I was sitting with that emotion for like a little hot second. So finally he calls me, whatever. He's like, hey, he real like happy, hey, what's up, boo, whatever. So I'm like, what's up, real dry, like what's up? So he's like, what's wrong? So I'm like, nothing. So he's like, nah, something's wrong, because he's like, I don't know, yeah, the tone of your voice sounds very, very different than when we usually talk or whatever. And I'm like, let me ask you a question. And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, you blocked me from your Instagram? So he's like, what? He was like, I blocked you. He was like, why would I block you? I have no reason to block you. I'm like, somebody blocked me.
A few moments later.
Hold on, wait, let me gather my thoughts, because this was a few years ago. This is a few years ago, so I gotta really think about what I'm saying and what happened. So I think if I could remember correctly, I went to his Instagram. The post was there. I went back to his Instagram. I waited for like maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, because he wasn't contacting me, but he had been telling me that he was gonna call me. He was gonna call me back, and he didn't. But I wasn't really pressed about it. I'm like, we are all grown. He's probably busy, whatever. So then when I went back to his Instagram, that's when I noticed that the post that he had posted about me for Mother's Day was down. It was completely gone. The one with his child's mother, that one was still there. But for some odd reason, my post was completely gone. So I was like, oh, so now I got all sorts of emotions and things running through my mind. So I said, okay, let me not even overreact, or I'm just gonna wait for him to hit me up and really ask him like what's going on. So finally he did call, and I asked him, and then he had no clue that I was blocked. That was the first initial like, huh? Like, how do you not know that if my post is gone from your Instagram, 2, I'm blocked? How do you not know that and that's your social platform? That was so confusing to me. Like, that was super weird. So I'm like, okay, like whatever. So then he's like, yo, I'm gonna call you back. So I'm like, no, don't even worry about it. Like, you don't even have to call me back or whatever. Like, don't worry about it. So he's like, nah, he's like, please. He's like, I'm gonna call you back. Like, when I call you back, like, answer the phone. So now I'm like, with a little attitude, like whatever, nigga. So he hangs up or whatever, and he calls me back like, I don't even know, like maybe like 2-3 hours later or whatever. So when he calls me back, he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, he's apologizing, and I'm just like, what is going on? So apparently what had transpired to him was he was dating some girl. She was like I don't even know, she was some type of artist. I don't remember if he said she was like a photographer. She was some type of like creative or whatever. And I guess she was crazy over him or crazy over the deed. And you know, she had access to his phone, and I'm like, how's she gonna have access to your phone if you not in her personal space? You understand? Or how she got access to your phone if you not really checking for this girl? Like, y'all not really dealing with each other. Like, no, if I'm not really dealing with a guy, like, he is definitely not going to have my password to my phone. How did she even get in your phone? It was just mind-blowing, right? So now again, like, I only could take this dude's words for what it is, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know anything. Like, I live on the East Coast, he's on the West Coast. I don't know what's going on. He comes to New York, and all of a sudden he's here. Like, I don't even know, like, I don't know if like he had told me when he was coming, like he was coming to stay, or he was coming to just like get like a little vacation or to take care of business. Like, I don't really remember. But when he did come, he was here for like a little while. So anyway, he's here for a little while, and like I told you, I worked at a salon. So literally, he was here. He came to see me at the salon, I want to say like about a good 2-3 times, because where I worked at, he was familiar with the area because he was from the block, the same block, but like up the street or whatever. Like he grew up on that block. So yeah, so he would like come by and say hi, like, you know, like sometimes or whatever. So I worked at the salon with a set of like Dominican women, and I don't know like, what happened or like, what was going on or whatever, but like me and these women that I worked in the salon with, like we was locked in for like a good year and a half. It was just like I had been working with them. They were comfortable with me. I was comfortable with them. I would have never thought in 1,000 years that one day I would walk into the shop and this woman, the owner of the shop, would just be like, you no longer work here. So now I'm like, wait a minute, what? I was taken aback because I was like, what could have happened? Nothing happened. When I tell y'all like nothing happened, nothing was going on, like her and I didn't get into an argument, like that, nothing transpired. You understand me? Like nothing transpired. So now I'm so upset, I'm so pissed because that's my money maker. Like I provide a service there, I'm selling hair there, like I was doing my thing. So I was really like upset or whatever. So anyway, I packed my stuff, whatever, and I ended up leaving her shop, and that was the end of it. Yeah, like I like I said, I'm to this day, or like until a few years ago, I was so puzzled to like why I couldn't work at the shop anymore. But as I go into the story, like I progress, y'all gonna see like why I lost the job at that salon. I want to say like we're in the maybe 2nd month of him and I just dating or whatever, and yeah, like everything was going smoothly. We was having fun. He was wanting dining your girl. He was taking me out to like restaurants. We was going to strip clubs. We were going to the studio. And I tell y'all, we were inseparable. You hear me? Inseparable. So we were talking, we were dating, and keep in mind, like I have a 3-year-old as well. So my daughter ended up traveling to Antigua because every summer she would go and visit like her grandparents and her aunts and her uncles and stuff in Antigua. So my daughter was not around, so I took full advantage of like getting to know this dude or whatever, you know, because I like from the time that we were like on the phone just talking like every night, I really like, grown to like him. I'm like, wow, we have a lot in common. We're so compatible. Like that's my boo. That's bae right there. So okay, so now we're like a month in or whatever, and then in the month he just like ups and disappears. I don't know where this dude was at. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get anything. It was just like ghost, right? So now I'm like, what this nigga think he is? Who he think he is that he think he could just like up and leave, no explanation, no nothing? Like, even though we're not in a committed relationship, I still feel like if you have a level of like some level of respect for anyone, you're at least gonna give them the heads up. It's saying, I got this going on, I got that going on, you know, I'm gonna be pretty busy, I'm not gonna be able to come through like that, or whatever the case may be. Like, he did not do that. So now I'm like, you know what? It reminded me of like the beginning when we were talking, and then like, I don't know, he went ghost for a little while, and then I was blocked off his Instagram and posts taken down. So it reminded me of that. Again, keep in mind that like, I'm like aware of the red flags, but they're literally going over my head, literally. So I said, okay, I'm like, this dude thinks I was like desperate, or he thought he could play a game with me, or whatever he thought. I don't know what he thought. So I literally was like, okay, this dude is a dub. So I called up this other guy that I knew that was interested in me, and I went on a date with him. So while I'm on a date with the guy, he calls and he's like, hey, what's up? So again, I'm like really dry, like, what's up? I'm like, honestly, like, I'm kind of busy right now. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm busy. And he's like, what do you mean you're busy? I'm like I'm outside, I'm out. And he's like, no, please, talk to me, please. Can I come pick you up? So I'm like, no, why would you need to come pick me up? You disappeared, you didn't tell me like your whereabouts or like anything. And it's not even that he has to tell me his whereabouts, like he just didn't like give me the heads up or the courtesy that you'd be like, listen, I'm gonna be really busy, so I'm not gonna be available this week, or whatever the case may be. Just let me know what's going on. So I found it very strange that like all of a sudden when he felt like he needed me, then it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop back into her life and I'm gonna just tell her like, yeah, like come with me. So anyway, long story short, his dad had passed away, and that's why he kind of disappeared, because he was like dealing with his emotions or whatever. So when he told me that, I kind of felt like bad. I was like, damn, his dad passed away. So like, you know, like let me have like a little bit more compassion for him or whatever, because you know, like that's rough when like, a parent of yours dies. So basically I was on the date with this other guy, and I literally left the date with the other guy and went with him. He came and picked me up like, in front of the guy, and I felt so bad because the guy was just looking at me like really, you gonna do that to me, like really, and I was just like, I felt so bad. But I was like, I felt like at the time I liked him that much. Well, I don't know why did I say I liked him? That was ghetto. I liked him so much that I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave him and I'm gonna go with my babe because he need me right now. So we left, and we drove, I think, to like one of his relatives' house, and they lived in Jersey. I don't remember what part of Jersey they lived in, but I remember they lived in Jersey. So we're in Jersey or whatever, and we're talking, and it was cool because like it was a very like intimate moment. At least I felt that way. Like who knows what the hell he felt, because he probably was running game the whole time. So I felt like it was very intimate because like we had exchanged just some experiences that we both had in common with our parents or whatever. And I think at the moment when I shared that, he felt like so much closer to me because I guess like we had something in common that he probably would have never thought like we would have had in common, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, like right there that day, I remember like I felt like so much closer to him. Like I just felt like we were like really connecting on like a deeper level. So his dad passes away. I'm there for him. It kind of seems like he's grieving, but I don't really know. I would kind of say like he got over it probably like really quickly. Like, I don't remember like, cause normally like you lose like a loved one, like, you know, like a mother, a father, whatever. Like, it takes you some time. Hell, even when you lose a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you go through a heartbreak, a breakup, like it takes you a minute. It takes you like a year, 2 years sometimes, 3 to 5 years, like I don't know. So for me, I felt like I remember him grieving in that very moment, but then I remember him getting over it very, 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 very quickly. So that was that. So then he always traveled for work. So now he was never really like always in New York. He would always be like, yo babe, I gotta go fly out to like Miami real fast because I gotta do like some records or whatever. I gotta record some records. I'm gonna go work with this producer. I'm gonna go meet up with this person, meet up with that person. And I didn't really mind it because I'm like, I'd rather a busy dude than a bum dude that just ain't doing nothing. So I was intrigued by the fact that like he was really busy, and you know, he had his own life and his own goals and his own aspirations. And you know, I was really like, yeah, like my dude is that guy. Like, you know, like that's how I felt, because I'm like, I don't need to be like worried about like what he's doing because he looks like the type that, you know, he takes care of his business or whatever. So I want to say, okay, he went to Miami, he came back, and then kind of were like, we were continuing to like date around or whatever, and then he had to leave again, and he left and he went to I believe it was like the West Coast, like Arizona. So not really committed yet, but we're getting there. So it was like the 4th month of us dating. So by the 4th month of us dating, he called me and he was like, oh, I got a surprise to show you like when I get back in town, whatever. So I'm like, what, tell me now, like I'm so excited or whatever. I'm like, tell me now, like what is our baby's name? Like, yeah, I done got you a gift, something. Like I didn't know what this dude was talking about. So he comes back into town, and we was hanging out, and then he was like, look. So I look, and he's like, this guy got my name tatted on him.
Tap my fucking name on you so I know it's real.
Within the 4th month of us being together. So now, like, again, like if that's not a red flag, I don't know what the fuck that is, because that's a major red flag. Major. And I knew it was a red flag. Like, I mean, I thought it was kind of cute, but I also knew that it was a red flag. So I was like, wow, like, okay. I was like, why'd you do that or whatever? And he was like, you know, like I just feel like you're my forever person, like you're my soulmate. So I wanted to attach your name. And I'm just like, I was so shocked. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I know that we like each other and we liked each other a lot. But it was just like, I just wouldn't think that like he would just go and just tap my name within 4 months. Cause like, what if he wasn't really like that? I don't know, like I wouldn't have tatted his name within 4 months. Like I know that for sure. Because even when he tatted my name, I didn't get his name tatted until like a year and some change later. You understand? And then when I got his name tatted, it was a whole issue because he felt like my name showed, like anybody that was like in the street or like walking amongst him or just out and about like could see the tattoo, and mine people couldn't see it. But it's like, I don't know, like to me, I'm very tiny, petite, and dainty. Like, I'm not gonna tat his name like so, I don't know. I left up at the part where he got my name tatted, and I was telling you guys that I got his name tatted within like I think a year and a half after he had got my name tatted, after like 4 months of us dating or whatever. So after that, I was like, oh, it's getting serious, child. Dude done tatted my name, and I'm like, he trying to let me know it's real. That's how I was like, he trying to let me know it's really real. So I was like, okay, that's cute or whatever. And then, so now I'm gonna just tell y'all like a little bit that like transpired, like leading up to like how the relationship like started to get like a little toxic. But again, I still wasn't like, I don't know, like I guess like I think I was paying attention, but I think I wasn't like putting my foot down, like, you know, like, cause dude should have been out of there. I should have got him up out of there after like a couple of these things that he was doing. Like, I should have really just got him out of here. But I feel like when you in a relationship, no relationship is perfect. So I kind of just thought of it as like, all right, like he has some other qualities that are like pretty good, and he just needs to like, you know, brush up on, you know what I'm saying, these other ones. So I wasn't ready to let him go just yet. I wanted to see like, you know, what would become of us and like how can we grow together. So that was in the 4th month while we were together. So I just want to like tell y'all like and touch on like a few points. So I told y'all like when we first got together, we was talking on the phone for like hours. That's a red flag. Then I lost my job. That's another red flag, because first of all, any man that you get with, or even if it's not your man, and say it's just like a friend, anybody that comes into your life and your blessings just start to like dwindle, you have to check your immediate circle, because that doesn't make any sense. If your life was perfectly fine before these people entered your life, and now these people have entered your life and everything is going to shit, you have to say to yourself, something is going on, something is wrong. And then that's what I didn't do, because when she told me like she didn't want me working at her shop anymore, I was completely lost, because for one, I wasn't even really in a real committed relationship with him yet. So it just threw me off that she would just like be like, oh, I don't want you working here anymore. So it was the weirdest thing. So that was 2 red flags that kind of just was like, child, like over my head, right? So then another thing that was another red flag that he did was when I think we were like 3 months in, and he was like, yo, we should move to LA. We should move to LA. And I was like, dude, I am not moving to LA. I was like, you are out of your mind. I was like, for one, I don't know you like that. I'm not gonna take my daughter out of her element. Like, even though my daughter's father and I wasn't together, I'm still not gonna rip my daughter away from her father to go with a man that I barely know. Like, where they do that at? Like, I was like, child, like, you cute and all that, and you know, you working with something, like a little something. It's like, you know, you cute, but you ain't that cute for me to be moving across the other part of the world. I'm not doing that. So that was a definite no for me. But all of these things are red flags that I did not pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? And that is the point of dating. The point of dating is to pay attention to these red flags and figure out whether or not this person is for you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I guess like, I don't know, maybe just like we all come with like childhood traumas and whatever, and maybe because I didn't grow up with my dad, and maybe like I felt like he was hitting I don't know, he was like creating like a soft spot in my heart to where it was just like, I was just like, oh, you know, I'll bend a little bit, but like there were certain things that I was not doing. Like I was not moving to LA. No, that was not happening. So now we're into the 6-month mark. So now 6 months is here, and we officially made it official that like we were gonna be like committed to each other. We wanted to be with each other. We loved each other that much. Well, I don't even know if to say like love. I want to say like we really liked each other. Like I don't even think at like in 6 months like we were talking about like love. Like yeah, like we weren't talking about love at like 6 months, but I could tell that there was like a very strong connection. There was like a strong attraction. So I knew that like we liked each other more than like the normal like we like each other a lot. So then another thing that happened was in that 6-month mark I ended up pregnant. So I was like, wait a minute to me like, this is moving way too fast. So again, like I said, I liked him, but I didn't like him enough to be like, I'm gonna bear children. Like, you know what I mean? I liked him enough to be like, all right, I want to get to know you. I want to be courted. I want to be wine and dine. Like, I want to go out. I want to have fun. I want to go to the studio with you. Like, yeah, like stuff like that. But like, I didn't like him enough to be like, I wanted a baby. So, because a baby is a responsibility. Children are, that's a huge responsibility. So, you can't just be out here just having kids with anybody. Again, like you thinking somebody is cute and a person being responsible is two different things. So I definitely, for me, I wasn't ready for that type of commitment to myself. I was not ready for a baby. Reason being, like I had just had my daughter and she was only 3. So I definitely was not interested in like having a kid like just like that. And it was like, I wasn't married and stuff like that. Cause I was definitely thinking about that too. I was like, Dad, the next time I do have a kid, like, you know, I want to be married and I want to be with my husband and stuff like that. So I definitely did not, it was no kids in my future anytime soon. So yeah, I remember like one day, for one, I just started like gaining like all this weight and like my butt was just really big and I was just like, what the hell is going on? And then come to find out, like they told me I was pregnant, but like I was pregnant, but like the minute they told me I was pregnant, I was sick as a dog. Like to the point where I was just like this cannot be real. This cannot be normal. Why do I feel like I want to die? That's how I felt with the pregnancy, whatever. So anyway, I had already decided that like I wasn't gonna keep the baby because it just wasn't the right time. We just literally got committed. So I was just like, yeah, nah, like I feel like I want to be wind and dine some more and I want to get to know him a little bit more. And then, you know, later on down the line, maybe 2-3 years, if we still together, yeah, then we can think about having a baby then. But like, right now, 6 months, that's way too early. So anyway, I ended up taking the baby out and you know, it was a sad story, it was a sad day, but it was for the best because we were not ready for a baby, clearly. Now, 6 months has passed and now we're fully together. But before the 6 months passed, I remember like there was a time when, like I told y'all, he's from New York, but had been living on the West Coast. So he didn't have like an apartment here or anything like that. So I guess he had been staying with like his mom. He was staying with his mom and he had brought it up to me that like, you know, like sometimes when he knocks on the door like late or whatever at his mom's house, like his mom probably wouldn't hear the door. I don't know, you know, she's an older person, so she's probably like, I don't want nobody coming in and out of my house like late in the night or whatever. So she would be asleep and she probably wouldn't hear the door. So he would be like locked out and probably had to go sleep in the hotels or probably had to go sleep in another female's house or whatever. But he making it seem like to me like, you know, he gotta go out and sleep in a hotel or whatever. So I'm like, listen, because we were already so cool, listen, here's the keys to my home or whatever. And anytime you go to your mom's house and she's not opening the door or she doesn't hear the door, whatever, like you could come crash at my crib or whatever. So here's the key. I didn't think he was like a serial killer or nothing. He ain't seem like that. So I was just like, all right, like, you know, I could give you the key. So I gave him the key and I remember this day distinctly because I found this to be so weird. So prior to me giving him the key, he was always coming over my house or whatever every night. Like he would go out, handle his business, do what he gotta do, and he'd be like, babe, I'm coming to the house, I'm coming up there, I'm coming to sleep with you, I'm coming to stay with you, and so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I remember when I gave him the key this one particular night, I'm calling him. Now, mind you, he told me he was gonna go check out a friend, and he was gonna come back. And I was like, okay, like I wasn't really like pressed or anything like that. So I went to sleep, took a nap, got up, and then I noticed like he wasn't back yet. So I think it was like around like 10, 11 o'clock. So now I'm like calling him, texting him, calling him. He not answering. So I'm like, what? But I'm still really not even like thinking anything, because again, I told y'all like at this time we were just dating. So it's not like I can't really be mad at a dude like, oh, he not answering my calls or he not answering. But it's like a mental note. If you're dating somebody and we've been dating for a good like 4 months or whatever, and you not answering my call, like some like, and I'm calling you a lot, I'm gonna start to be like a little worried. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not insecure about anything, but I'm just a little worried like, oh, what's going on with him? That's a little weird. But like, he never gave me any type of vibe that he was dealing with another female or whatever. So I never would, that didn't even cross my mind. Like literally, like it didn't cross my mind. So now I was calling this man all night. And finally, like when it got to like certain time, like 1 a.m., I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on with him. Even if he do come here, he got the key so he could come, but I'm not gonna continue to call him. So I ended up going back to sleep. And the next day came, and I guess now, from whatever chick he was up under, now he up is morning time. So he was like, he called my phone, he like, oh, yo, I'm so sorry, I was drunk. I stayed on my man's couch and da-da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, what? I'm like, you stayed on your man's couch, so you couldn't call me and tell me like, yo, babe, I'm like super drunk. Like, cause I'm thinking, when you get drunk and you dealing with somebody, y'all be calling them anyway, like, yo, I'm real drunk, I'm that, you know, like, whatever. So why wouldn't he call me and just let me know that, like, he was drunk or whatever? And if he fell asleep, I would just understand, because I'm like, all right, he at his friend's house, he probably fell asleep, he drunk, whatever, cool. But you never answer any of my calls. You never answer any of my texts. So that was like literally the first red flag that I was like, as far as like the relationship goes, like that was like a little like, like that's weird. Like you was sleeping here every other night or every night, but now I give you the key and you think you got it like that. So I'm like, oh, cool, no problem. So now it's like when we're like officially into like 6 months. So now, like, you know, my name is tatted on him. 6 months, he wants to be committed. He wants to be committed to me, only me, and I want to be committed to him and whatever. So now he's actually like living there. He's living in my house. Like all his clothes is there. Yeah, because like I said, he didn't really have like an apartment here, like, and I didn't really understand the dynamic of like what was going on with him. Like I didn't know like if he was going back to the West Coast. I don't know what transpired. And I think like one day I was just like, well, what's going on with you? Like, are you going back to the West Coast, or are like you staying here? He's like, nah, I'm staying here. Like, when I tell y'all, he came here, and from the day he came here, he never left me. Like, we was together ever since, and that was like about 12, 13 years ago. We were together. When I say inseparable, we were inseparable. We did everything together. Yeah, so that was that. And then, so now we're still in the 6 month part, and then he meets this girl. So I guess when he went to Miami, there was some girl that he met, some type of executive or like PR girl that he met that worked for Rick Ross's company, MMG. So I noticed that when he used to be at home with me, like this girl, she used to call at all times of the night. And you know, I'm a very like understanding person. I'm understanding to the point of like, okay, I know what you do music. I know that type of lifestyle is like everybody works literally at night. You know, like when they go to the studio, it's in the middle of the night, club appearances, anything. It's like, it's mainly like a nighttime type of vibe. So she had called him one time and we were like watching movies or whatever. And she called him and she was just like talking to him. But they wasn't talking about anything inappropriate, whatever, because I was clearly laying right there with him and they was just talking about business. But the crazy thing is that when the woman hung up the phone, I said to him, I said, let me ask you a question. I'm like, what is the dynamic between you and this woman or whatever? And he's like, nah, it ain't even like that, babe. Like, you know, she works at MMG, she works for Rick Ross. Like, I'm just trying to get cool with her. You know, I could get in because, you know, I'm trying to be an artist. I'm trying to be a rapper. I just want to like, you know, like really like build with her and see if she could get me in with Rick Ross. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. I said, but the only problem I have is that like, I feel like as a woman, if I'm calling a man at like 11 o'clock at night, in my mind, either I'm trying to see if he got a girl, a wife, or somebody, or I'm low-key, like I'm interested. Because it's like, if this is about business, I'm gonna call during business hours. I don't even care if you do music and a lot of your business is going on at night. Like, at the end of the day, this woman is calling you at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, any time of the night that she feels like it. And to me, it's like when you're in a relationship with somebody, that's like disrespectful to your partner. Like, because either she could call and you just don't answer, and I'm okay with that too because you're busy. You're with your woman. But it's like, if she's calling and you're answering her and you're talking to her as if normal, and I mean, it's okay because I'm laying in the bed right next to you and she doesn't know that, but in her mind, she's saying, oh, he can't have a girl, or he can't have a woman because he's talking to me and it's 11 o'clock at night, it's 12 o'clock at night. So you gotta understand, like, anybody would think that. I would think that as a woman. Like, if I call a man at 11 o'clock at night and he answers the phone and he just on the phone with me and we just kikiing all freaking night, or not all night, but like, you know, an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, like, I'ma think, oh, he can't have no girl. He got a girl and his girl let him lay up talking to me. And I'm like, if it's about business, y'all could talk whatever y'all talking about. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't about business, he would have never picked up the phone. Cause you ain't got that much balls to be picking up the phone and be talking about whatever in front of me and it's not about business. That's not gonna happen. So I basically brought it to his attention and I was like, listen, I feel like you need to nip that in the bud, because if you don't, it's gonna get out of hand. And he was like, no, babe, you don't gotta worry about anything. I got it under control, blah, blah. So fast forward now, right? We were at the 6-month mark, but now it's like New Year's in that same year. So now, child, we go out, it's New Year's. I got on this nice black dress, long sleeve, it's cut out on the sides, chunky, like 70s looking heels. He's wearing all black, I'm wearing all black. Like, we just look cute, like a real, like, cute little power couple, whatever. So we go out and we having a ball. Like, I forgot what club was popping around this time. I think it was like one of those clubs downtown, and this club was real big. It had like a lot of floors. Like, it had like a ground floor, second floor. It was really big. If I can get the name, I'm gonna link it down the bottom, because I'm pretty sure y'all probably know about this club. But anyway, we went to the club for New Year's and we having a good time. I'm tipsy, I'm drunk. I'm like, oh, I'm having a good time. We dancing. So I see 2 girls walk up or whatever, and she kind of like tap him, whatever, and he like, hey. So he like, what's up? So he kind of give her like a hug, but you know, like the one arm hug. He kind of give her that, and he kind of like tap her like, hey, what's up, girl? Next thing you know, so he says her name. I don't even remember this child's name. Like, she was, I don't know. I don't remember her name. But he was like, yeah, this is so-and-so. And he was like, so-and-so, this is my girl, Miko. He says to this woman, this is my girl, Miko. And this, I don't want to call her a B-I-T-C-H because that's how she was acting. But that's what it really was giving. Like, it was giving B-I-T-C-H. She was like, oh my effing God, you never told me you had a girl. She's going off. Like, keep in mind, it's New Year's. It's New Year's. So we having a good time. We just supposed to be here having a good time with each other. Like, why is she going off if y'all just doing business? Like, I'm confused. This is the same girl from MMG. So now, like, her friend is trying to calm me down because I'm like, you know, I'm not even going to tell y'all how I really was acting because it was real ratchet and ghetto. So it got crazy. So her friend came and her friend apologized to me and she was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, this was not how the night was supposed to go. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then, like, I heard her go back to her friend and was like, what's wrong with you? He never told you that he wanted to be with you. He never this, he never that. Why you acting like that? Like this and that. And you know, like, now thinking back, and even when we got into the like little altercation with this girl, I had told him, like, you know, like, I'm not even mad at her because I had already told him, I already had gave him the disclaimer from before. Like, you keep picking up her phone calls at this time of the night and you're talking to her, but she doesn't realize that you're talking to her and I'm there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so to her, it seems like, oh, he just chatting it up with her in the middle of the night and he not with his woman, but he is. So it's like I felt like he was misleading her. You know what I mean? He definitely misled her, and I think that's why she went off, because it was like, she probably was like flirting with him and just telling him, like, you know, she liked him. Like, she's a woman. Like, she was letting you know that she was interested. And instead of him saying, listen, you know, like, I understand that you like me and you're interested or whatever, but like, at this very moment, like, I am involved with somebody already, and you know, I just want to get to the business, and I really just want to handle the business, like, and just be about your business. No, he kept stringing her along. So that's why when she saw me, she like, girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? And I can only imagine the conversations that him and her had. Because when I tell you, like, this dude, like, my ex is full on, when I say he's so narcissistic, like this, when I say toxic, he's toxic. So I can only imagine now, thinking back, that I'm like, I've spent 12, 13 years with him. It's like, he was definitely misleading her. He was definitely giving her the impression that he was gonna like be with her, or he was checking for her or something, because I don't know why she went off the way that she did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just leave it at that. So then that was on New Year's, and that's when we were like in the Bronx apartment. So now fast forward now. We are now getting an apartment together. So now I want to say, like, I don't know, like maybe we like now a year we've been together now, and we moved to Jersey because now he's like, oh, I want to get us another apartment. I want to get us a different apartment. I want to get something that belongs to like you and I and blah blah. So I'm like, cool. So now like he wants to get another apartment, but he wanted to move to Jersey. So now like that was a little bit of a stretch for me, because like I said, everything that I know is here. My whole family and my daughter's father, like everything is here. So if I move to Jersey, I'm basically gonna be like out of range for me to do certain things. Like it was easier when I was in the Bronx and I'm like, okay, I have to go take care of some business and I'll take my daughter to her father. Now that I'm in Jersey, it's a lot harder or whatever. So now we moved to Jersey. The apartment was beautiful. And before we went to Jersey, he had been talking on the phone with like this young guy, and he was telling me like that's his little bro, and like, you know, he does music and he's from the Bay Area of California, and yeah, he was just like, yeah, he's gonna come and they're gonna do their music thing and you know whatever. So I was like, wow, that's dope, that's dope. I was excited for them. So the kid came, and when he came, when I tell you, he was a baby. He was so young. I think at that time he was probably like 18 or whatever, 18 or 19, somewhere around there. So when he came, I'm guessing that he came with a lawsuit. So I had no recollection of this kid having like all this money, because whatever they had going on and whatever they planned out to do was between them. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't even know you know, his little bro or anything like that. So I wasn't really involved in whatever they had going on. But his little bro had came, and when he came, we went and we looked at the apartment. We liked it. He moved in next door. That was the plan. The plan was for him to move next door. And so now I noticed that this bro pays for the apartment. So we moved in, and well, not we moved in, we signed the lease. We went, we looked at the apartment, we liked it, whatever. It was in like the Fort Lee area of Jersey or whatever. Like I said, the apartment was beautiful and everything like that. And we were gonna pay the rent up for 6 months so we could have that cushion to make some money. So his little bro gives me the check. We had to go to the bank and get like a cashier check. So he goes to the bank and he gets the money, he comes back, he gives it to me. I paid for both the apartments or whatever, because like I said, he was like a young kid, so he didn't really understand, or like he didn't really know what to do as far as like, you know, like the paperwork and everything like that. So whatever, we took care of that. We were moved in. We were moved in there. So before we move into the next segment, guys, I just wanted to make it clear that in this part of the video, my ex made it seem as if he was a provider and he takes care of his family, but yet again, he showed his narcissistic characteristics with inviting this young boy from the Bay Area to come in and use him for his lawsuit money to pay for an apartment for 6 months, which was something that he was supposed to do due to the fact that he was the man in the relationship. So let's jump back into the video. And then I started to get winds of like, I don't know, like maybe like he could be possibly cheating. It wasn't really like, I didn't have any really hardcore facts, but I definitely felt like a woman's intuition. Like I definitely felt like this dude was cheating. And we paid up the rent for like 6 months, right? So at that time, I'm telling y'all, like, yeah, 6 months is a good enough cushion or whatever to make some money. So we're meeting the mark and we're about to hit 6 months. He did something to, I guess, to like make his money, but somehow it didn't work out that way. And he just took a loss. I would say he took a loss. That was it. And yeah, it was so bad because we went from like having this cushion to now like we on needles and pins because we like, yo, like how are we gonna pay this rent? Now keep in mind, like the rent was like, at that time, how much was the rent? The rent was like, I want to say like $2,700 at that time. I think that was like around 2013, 14, somewhere around there, like 2000, because we met in like 2011. So it was like, yeah, it was somewhere around there, 2012 or 13, one of those. So, yeah, so now like, you know, here we go with this L, like, you know, now we on pins and needles because we don't know what's going to happen. After that, I noticed that like the dynamic of the relationship like started to change. It was like, I kind of felt like he was just like, he was kind of just used to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that he was treating me like any differently, but you know, like when people become comfortable with you, you meet a friend, you meet your friend and y'all new friend, y'all all over each other. Like, oh my God, it's my friend, it's my friend, my friend. After like a year or two, it's like, y'all still got the same love for each other, but it's just not as like exciting anymore because, you know, y'all been friends for a long time now. So that, I think we were at that stage of like the relationship. Like, it wasn't like super exciting anymore, which was like, we were still having fun and stuff like that, but like it wasn't like exciting as when we were like, when we first met and we just started dating. So yeah, like I had hooked him up with a friend of mine, and I hooked him up with my friend, and my friend one day I got a phone call from my friend, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, what's up, whatever. So we talking, and he's like, yo, you know your boy asked me for $10,000 or whatever. So this is another like red flag that just like, I don't even know why in my mind, like it really didn't click to me. As for one, I knew it was bad just because there's protocol with certain things. So I'm gonna finish telling y'all what he did. So my friend calls me and he's like, yo, your boy asked me for $10,000 or whatever. So I'm like, what? I'm on the phone like, what you talking about? What friend? He like, your boy, and you know, he says Bob, because remember we said we gonna call him Bob. So he like, Bob asked me. So yes, I got the call from a friend, and you know, my friend was saying that like he asked him, my boy asked him for 10K, and I'm like, what boy? I wonder about who would do that? Who in the world would ask you for 10K? And he like, your boy, like your boy. He like, yeah, me and Bob. So I'm like, nah, like why would he do that? Like I was like, why would he feel comfortable enough to do that? And he was like, I don't know. He was like, but the thing is that like, he was like, I really fuck with you, and you know, I want the best for you, and that's your man. So if you tell me he good for it, I'll give him the money. I'll give him the 10K. So I was like, yeah, he good for it, you saying? Because like, of course, like that's my man. I'm gonna have his back, even though I was livid because I was like, why would you go behind my back and ask my friend for 10K instead of coming to me? It doesn't matter regardless if I introduced y'all. You don't have a rapport with him. I do. Like I would never go. Like it's just weird to have a friend introduce you to their friend for business purposes, which is cool. But like to ask him for 10K and not come to me first is just weird. I feel like in life there's just a certain level of protocol when it comes to certain things, and like that's just something that you just don't do. I was so taken aback when he called me and said that he asked him for the 10 bands or whatever. So anyway, he gives him the money because of me, because I co-signed it and I said it was okay. So he gives him the money, and everything is cool. He was like, as long as he pay me back my money, he good. You know, he was like, I love you. I want to always make sure that you're good and that you're safe or whatever. So if giving him this money makes you okay, then I'll give it to him, whatever. So I was like, okay, fine. So he gave him the money. So now he gives him the money, and he's supposed to do whatever he's supposed to do with the money, but that don't get done with the money. So now we back to square one again. He taking L's. After the 6 months was up, he ain't never paid no rent. He was just taking L's left and right. And that was another thing that I had noticed in the relationship. Regardless, even if you do handle your business, it ain't that much L's in the world that you're gonna take, you know what I'm saying, unless you're doing bad business. I feel like, I don't know what was going on. I feel like he wasn't conducting business properly. I feel like he was being very snaky. He was being like, I don't know, very grimy. Like, I don't know, it's not that many L's that you're supposed to be taking unless this is just like your karma. And I just felt he was the dude that was just taking so many L's to the point where it just started to feel like he was a victim. And it's like, bro, if you're a victim, then you in the wrong business. You need to get out of that business. You need to go legit get a job. Because at the end of the day, like, you're a man and you have to take care of your family, and that's what you want to do. Like, you have to do everything in your power to take care of your family. So you should go do that. You should go get a job, because clearly this lifestyle is not working for you. You understand? And as his partner, I used to tell him, like, before he even did whatever he did when he took the L, I said to him, I said, listen, why don't we invest in hair? I'm telling you, like, we're gonna make the money, because of course, like, I'm good at hair. I look the part. I can sell it. You understand what I'm saying? So if we went in together as business partners, it would be a lucrative business. I was already selling it when I met him. I was selling hair, so I already knew the ins and outs, and it was just like, nah, we could do that, but we gonna do that after I do this. It was always like an excuse, so we gonna do that after and I was just like, wow. It started to make me feel like I really am not gonna be able to build with this person. You know what I mean? But I don't know, when you love somebody, you know, you just keep trying. Like, you know, you try different things to see what works and what sticks, because like no relationship is perfect. So that's what I was thinking. So I still kept going with the relationship. So then prior to that, like when somewhere like a couple of months in the beginning, like when we were dating, he had then told me about a girl that he had been dating. And he told me about the girl, and long story short, the girl ended up being a distant cousin of mine. So one day he has like an album release party at like some club in the South Bronx, and we go there, and he invites the sister, which is again my cousin. They're both my cousins. So he invites them, and keep in mind, I didn't know that they were my cousins because I haven't seen them since I was like a little girl. I think since I was like about like 11, 12, and we're like grown. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm a grown woman. Like, I got kids, they got a kid, we're grown, so we don't even know like, oh, that's my cousin or whatever. But the crazy part about it was he had told my cousin about me because she worked in like a department store. I think it was like Saks or one of them, and I had one of these shoes, like these Valentino shoes. So he was ordering the shoes from her. So he had been telling her like, yeah, I want to get it from my girl. Her name is da-da-da. I'm not gonna say my government on here, but he was like, her name is blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying, basically Miko. And she was like, what? And he was like, yeah, that's my girl name. And she was like, first of all, I only know one person with that name, and that's my cousin. Which was completely weird because like, she literally said it like, my name is so unique, you're not gonna find 20,000, you're not even gonna find 20 people with that name. Like, literally, like, I'm not even kidding y'all. You're not gonna find 20 people with that name. My name is too unique, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, the only person I know, she said, I only know one person with that name, and that's my cousin. And he was like, oh, for real, for real? He was like, well, that's her name, whatever. So anyway, he has the album release party. He invited my cousin, right? And I guess like he invited my cousin, and he invited her sister. So her sister came as well, which is the girl that he had been dealing with or whatever, that he had told me about her. And the crazy part is that he had told me her name, but I'm like, her name is so common that I didn't think it was her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it would be like my cousin that's named that. You know, I'm not gonna say anyone's names because I kind of just want to leave everybody anonymous just for safety purposes. I don't want to say nobody's name. So yeah, like her name was like, you know, like a name like Tammy. Like Tammy is a common name. Tammy is not, it could be 50,000 Tammys. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when he told me the girl name was Tammy, I'm like, oh, like, okay, like I didn't think nothing of it. Lo and behold, child, it was my cousin, right? So now we at the party, we chilling at the party, whatever, and my dude is like sitting in a chair like this, and I'm like sitting on top of him. So my back is to y'all, like my back is literally, and my butt is like to y'all, and I'm like got my legs over his legs or whatever, and I'm like standing like, you know, I'm sitting like over him like that, and I'm like face to face with him or whatever. So I noticed that like he seemed a little distracted or something, cause like we were talking and we was on each other's faces like yeah, whatever. But then like he kind of was looking over like what the hell is this person doing? So as I turned around, I'm like, I see the girl on the floor. She getting low, she twerking. She got her little maxi dress on and blah. Keep in mind the girl I'm talking about is my cousin. So she on the floor, she twerking, blah blah. So now I'm like, oh, this hoe done lost her mind. So I'll go over there. And I'm like, okay, like, are you good? And she was like, what do you mean if I'm good? I'm like, are you good? Because I see, like, you know what I'm saying, you try to show yourself out, like you on the floor, you're twerking, you're doing that. I'm confused. Like, why would you even come here if you knew, you're saying that you and him had been intimate at some point in time or whatever? So anyways, this girl proceeds to go in and say like how he goes over to her house and how he be talking about me to her, and she knows it's me because she's like, oh, you a hairstylist, right? You do hair, right? He was talking about you. He was saying this, he was saying that. He was coming to my house talking bad about you. So I'm like, really? Anyway, at this moment that me and this girl going back and forth, I done put my hands on her, done mushed the girl in the head, everything. So now the bouncers come, they break us up, whatever. She go her way, I go mine, we leave. So like a couple days later, I get a phone call from my mom, and she's like, oh, you was in a club the other night and you was about to have a fight with a girl? So I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? I don't even know, because now I didn't even forgot about it. I was over it. So she's like, you was in a club and you was about to have a fight with a girl, a light-skinned girl with like green eyes. And I'm like, what? I was so lost at the moment, because it was like, my mom doesn't really know like the ins and outs of my business. So I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, you were at a club and you were about to have a fight with a girl over Bob. And I'm like, oh, I was like, yeah. I'm like, how do you know about that? So then she proceeds to tell me like, oh, the girl is your cousin. It was her. It was my cousin Tammy and my cousin Tammy and let's say we gonna call her sister Tash. It was your cousin Tammy and Tash. So I was like, what? She was like, yeah, because I went over to their house and they told me the whole thing. Because she was like, they didn't know it was you either. Like, she said, I went over there and I was talking to them and I was having a conversation with them. I was just checking up on them. And they was like, they asked about you. She was like, Tash asked about you. Like, oh, how's Miko, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, she's okay. She's dating some guy, some rapper or whatever. So at that time, my cousin was like, she's dating some rapper. She was like, is his name Bob? And she like, yeah. My mom was like, yeah. And she was like, oh my God. She was like, Miko and Tammy was about to have a fight the other night in the club because of him. That's how we all found out that we knew about each other, and we didn't even know that it was like us, because we haven't seen each other in years. So even that situation was just like awkward, like really, bro. I was about to fight my cousin, and you know, I'm totally fine with the fact that like I didn't know like that was my cousin, but it was the fact that like if me and you are in a committed relationship, why would you not give me the heads up and let me know like, okay, like I invited this girl, her sister, which is the one that got my shoes from Saks, but like I also like said she could bring her sister too, like, so I just want to let you know so that this way you, because now it's like I know what's up, like, you know, you giving me the heads up and you letting me know like, right, I used to deal with this girl, I used to be intimate with this girl, but I'm no longer intimate with her, I'm with you, but I want you to know that like she might come with her sister. Now I feel a little bit at ease, or I feel calm, like, oh, okay, no problem, because you let me know. But he never let me know that the girl was there, so now it just threw me for a loop. When I turn around and I see the girl dropping it low on the floor and she's going like this and twerking, and it was like she was trying to upstage me, or like she was in a competition with me, and I'm like, baby girl, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. For you to even want to come to a party and stoop that low and do that was just beyond me. Like, you understand? So, yeah, and I still feel the same way, even though I am talking about my cousin. It is what it is. Like, that's how I feel, and I'm not gonna change how I feel about it. So anyway, so yeah, so that was one thing too that was kind of like a red flag to me, because like I said, it wasn't the fact that she was my cousin, it was the fact that he didn't let me know that she was coming. So he could have invited several women to that party that he slept with and did not tell me. I just feel like that's just so disrespectful on so many levels. Like, you know, really the fact that like he didn't tell me, like he didn't give me the heads up. Like, when you have a partner, your partner is supposed to tell you like he's supposed to have my back. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna have his back. Like, and the crazy thing was that like, when I told y'all when I first started talking to him, I knew that he was gonna be, he's in the industry, or he was trying to be in the industry, because he's not in the industry, but he wants to be in the music industry. So I was like, okay, because I know that you might run around in the same playground with somebody that I've been with in the industry, I'm going to let you know. So this way, this person is never able to have a one-up on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I don't want you to be in the dark about nothing. Like, that's how serious about the relationship I was with him. So I never wanted him to look crazy in front of no other man, or make no other man make him feel like they got something dangling over his head. I always made sure that like, he was always comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I just felt like a little disrespected, because I was like, why wouldn't you give me the same respect or the same courtesy? So yeah, that was that. And yeah, so yeah, I told you guys like it was like a whole altercation at the party, and you know, we had to just vacate the premises because it was like, now y'all getting crazy. So yeah, and then it was just like little things. Like I would notice that when we get into arguments, he would be like very disrespectful. Like he went from being so charming to being like, yeah, you bitch, and you know, like, and in a relationship, I just feel like you gotta watch the way you talk to your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be so comfortable with like talking to your partner certain type of ways. Like, you know, like we supposed to have like respect for each other in a way where it's like we should never be like hitting below the belt. And I just felt like there was a lot of times like, when him and I would get into arguments that he would hit below the belt. And it's like, me, I'm one of those people that's like, I'm very humble and I'm very nice and I'm very understanding, but it's like I can also be very toxic at times. Like if I feel like you're coming for me, or I feel like you're trying to back me in a corner or whatever, and I feel like I need to protect myself against you, I could really, really, really be very toxic. So yeah, like the relationship was just getting a little too crazy. Keep in mind, this is in the new apartment that we moved into in Jersey. So then another thing that happened while we were there, I don't know, again, like, you know, he's a street dude, he handles his business outside. There was some female that, no, so this was the thing. Because I knew about the kind of lifestyle that he lived, there's times where, you know, your man is not gonna be home probably every night, because he could be out of town. He could be taking care of business in another state, or like his business could run past hours, or, you know, like whatever. That's not like a normal lifestyle. So, you know, to me, it's like he could be home today, going tomorrow, here for a week, going for 2 weeks. Like that's literally how his business was anyway, because even with the music, he would fly out to Miami, come back, fly to Arizona, come back, fly to LA, come back. So like I never really took it as anything. So then one time, I just got that woman's intuition, and when I went to the phone, I realized like there was a girl that had texted him. So she was just like, you want to be over there with your boy-headed girlfriend or something? I don't know if she said daughter or her ugly ass daughter, like some foul shit she was saying out her mouth. And I'm saying to myself, why would this girl be so pressed? So, you know me being a detective, child, I done took the girl number out his phone, sent it to my phone, then I hit her from my phone talking like him, and I was like, this was so funny, because I was like, yo, I was like, yo, babe, I got a new number, hit me here, I'm gonna hit you in the hot, like, cause that's how he talk, like, he think he real fly. He was like, yeah, he was like, yeah. I don't even know if he said, babe, yeah, I was like, it's me, Bob, yo, hit me here, or I'm gonna hit you back in the hot, just give me a sec. That's how he be talking. So I was like, I do that to the girl, right? And was arguing all morning. So I remember, because at this time I was working at a shop, like, but this shop was in the South Bronx or whatever. So he was driving me to work. So I had hit up the girl, and finally the girl ain't even hit me back. She hit me back when we got to the South Bronx. Now, all the way from Jersey. So you know how long that is? It took like a good hour and a half or whatever for her to hit me back. So finally she hit me back, and she's saying, oh, F you. She's cursing him out, child. She cursing him out, she cursing him out, she cursing him out. She like, F you, you never spend any time with me. You never spend any money on me. I feel like you using me. You just come to my house to use me, to do whatever. F you, whatever. So now I'm talking to her, but now I'm talking to her as me, because I feel like I don't have to talk to her as him anymore. So now she's confused, like, wait, what? And then she finally realized, like, oh, like, this is his girlfriend. So it was just like a big thing. It wasn't really a big thing with her because she felt stupid, but with him it was crazy. Like, and that's what I was saying, like, it was just a very, very, very like toxic relationship. And to be honest, like, I've been in like several relationships, and I never been in a relationship like this that was just like extremely toxic, to the point where like it was just a lot going on. We calling each other our names, like talking very, very, very derogatory to one another. Yeah, like it was just too much. Like, it was toxic. It was super, 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 super toxic. So like, yeah, like we were in the street. Like, I would get out the car while it was moving because I didn't want to be. It was just toxic as hell. Okay. So then, yeah, and then it was like another girl. I remember she was like his friend. So there was one time when he had like, no, he was opening up for like another artist or something like that. Like, I don't remember, like I think he was opening up for like Dave East, or like him and Dave East was like performing on the stage at one of these like little like clubs downtown in like the Lower East Side or whatever. So you know, I came to support him or whatever, looking cute. I wore like the little sports bra, whatever that he had with his brands on it or whatever that I helped him build. And yeah, I was there, and I remember like he had introduced me to this girl, and for the life of me, I was trying to think like, why is this girl so nasty to me? Because like, I don't know you from nowhere, baby girl. Babes, I don't know you. So what's your issue? You know what I'm saying? So I remember he was like, so this is my girl Miko, and she just was like, she had the stinkest look. When I tell y'all, the girl was like, so I'm looking at her like, and I just was like, because I just couldn't understand like, what that energy was about. It was just like what is happening right now? What is happening? So I didn't pay no mind. I didn't let it mess up my night. I was still continuing my night or whatever. And then a couple weeks go by, and then I noticed that she sends him a picture in lingerie. Now, I'm not even like the type to really speak on women or whatever, because I'm really secure with who I am and what I bring to the table. Like, nobody could ever be Miko. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of beautiful women out here, but you're not me and I'm not you. And I'm cool with that. So I'm never insecure, but it was like, this girl, first of all, she looked like a box of Frosted Flakes. She just looked crazy. She looked very masculine, didn't really have no sex appeal. And even still, like, even with all of that being said, it's like, what are you doing sending this picture to my man? My man. Like, he just introduced us and told you that I was his girl, so why are you sending this picture to my man? You understand me? Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So now I'm asking him, like, oh, like, why do you have this picture in your phone? And then it's so funny because, like, he telling the girl, she sends the photo, right? Let me just give y'all a good little laugh. She sends him the photo. She's wearing some cheap lingerie. She looks crazy. And she sends it, and she's like, how do you think I look? She's like that in the photo, like, how do you think I look? And he's like, oh, you good, Brad. You look good, Brad. Like, and I'm like, why are you lying to that girl? Like, you're lying to her and you're telling her that she looks good, Brad. Like, she looks horrible. Like, and I wouldn't even lie to y'all. Like, I love beautiful women. I love a woman that is secure with herself and just know she look good and she just fine. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this was not giving that. Like, this was
giving like man. Like, literally, like, it was giving man. So it started to confuse me a little bit because I was just like, I don't know what's happening here, because like, it seems like you like men. Like, I don't know.
So anyway, that happened with her, and then like Lo and behold, I had another friend that was outside of him and I's relationship that like he knew of her, but she wasn't really like a friend of both of ours. She was just my friend. So then my friend came to me one day and was just like, yeah, her best friend told her that I slept with the same masculine looking girl. So I'm like, well, how would you know about that? And she's like, oh, well, and so told me that like that's what happened. He'd be sleeping with her like on her grandmother's couch. And it was just like, it started to get like out of control. At the same time, I was like, I don't have any proof of these things. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it was like a lot of like he say, hearsay, like, and it's just like I didn't have proof. And the only thing I did see was that she sent him a picture of her in lingerie, and I was just like, why are you intrigued by this? Why are you even entertaining this as my man? My man would never even entertain this. So sorry because my camera is dying, but stay tuned for part 3 because it's so much more tea. It's so much more that I want to tell y'all. So stay tuned.